Let's start with a quick poll. Raise your hand if you've used AI in the last 24 hours. Maybe you used ChatGPT to draft an email. Maybe you used Alexa to ask what the weather was today. Now, raise your hand if you noticed when AI was used on you. Did you recognize when your Spotify recommended a day list that hit the vibes you were craving as AI? Did you notice when the camera picture at TSA was actually facial recognition AI technology? Lastly, raise your hand if you understand how these systems work and where it influences your life, your business, your health, and your family. These gaps between using technology and understanding the small and large ways it influences all our lives is exactly why I'm here today. Because here's the truth. AI is no longer just on our computer or on the internet. It is all around us. It is in the job application that screens your resume before you even know if a human reads it. It is in the dating app deciding who you see first. It is even determining the types of health insurance and car insurance you can now get. Data is behind almost every decision in our life, whether we are conscious of it or not. And yet, only 30% of Americans can recognize an algorithm when they encounter one. My name is Sanjana Chintalapudi. I'm an AI consultant, a data literacy educator, and the founder of Data Conscious Collective. I built my company on one belief, that the people AI impacts the most deserve to understand it the most. And that is everyone in this room. I used to think that data literacy was for tech bros and computer scientists in Silicon Valley. It felt exclusive, gate-kept, and not for someone like me. So, when ChatGPT was released back in 2022, I went and got my master's in data science to get access to this elite knowledge. And here is what I actually learned. Data literacy, not that hard. Once you strip away all the technical language that is deliberately used to keep most people out. You don't need to be a coder. You don't need a degree. What is being sold to you as impossible to understand has been made complicated on purpose because your confusion is profitable. When you don't understand how your data is used, it's a lot easier to use it. In my very first final exam of my master's program, I was asked to build a simple social media algorithm. And as I was coding it, feeling like a brown woman, Mark Zuckerberg, it hit me. Facebook, Instagram, these are not magical, complicated tools beyond our understanding. They are pattern recognition models. Sophisticated ones, absolutely. But at their core, they find patterns and they repeat them. That's it. Here's what AI actually is, stripped of every piece of jargon. There are 3 key definitions you need to understand for AI. An algorithm. Algorithms are a set of rules a computer follows to solve a problem. This is a foundation of almost every technology we see out in the world today. Facebook uses algorithms. Netflix uses algorithms. Even banks use algorithms to determine financial risks. Machine learning. Machine learning is when a computer learns from the patterns in data and gets better over time without manually being reprogrammed. And AI, or artificial intelligence, takes this one step further. It uses advanced pattern matching to generate new outputs, refine responses, and improve based on feedback. That's what makes it such a game changer. ChatGPT is not thinking. It predicts the next most likely word based on billions of patterns it has been ingested with. Your Instagram feed is not showing you what's true or important. It is showing you what the pattern of your past behavior suggests you will click on next. AI is not magic. AI is not intelligent like you and me. They are math patterns. So it's only as good as the data it was trained on. It can produce confident, convincing, wrong answers if those patterns are flawed or biased. And once you know that, the world around us becomes a lot more manageable. I welcome you to notice the algorithms around you this week. What pattern is this tool recognizing about you? What data did you give it to learn from? These questions are the beginning of data consciousness. So, if data literacy is understanding how these systems work, data consciousness is having the awareness of how these systems are working on you right now. And most of us are not there yet. Not because we're not smart, but because these technologies aren't designed for that. Think about the last time you picked up your phone without meaning to. You were in the middle of something, a conversation, a meal, a thought, and your hand just reaches out for your phone. Or you opened an app to check one thing, and then you look up 20 minutes later, not really sure what happened. These platforms are intentionally engineered to drive this frictionless experience. Every swipe is smoother. Every notification is timed. Every interface is built to reduce the moment between impulse and action, because that moment of pause is where your conscious decision-making lives. The doom scroll is not an accident. The way your Apple Watch makes you feel anxious if you haven't hit your steps is not an accident. These systems are designed to keep you in this half-conscious state, conscious enough to stay, distracted enough not to question it. And this matters for your business and your life because you cannot make clear, strategic, intentional decisions about technology from this state. So, as you notice the algorithms around you this week, I also welcome you to notice the pull, that reach for the phone, that compulsive tab switch, that app you opened for no real reason. This one beat of awareness is data consciousness, and it's a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets. It shifts you from a person sleepwalking through a world built to capture your attention to someone who moves through it with your eyes open, making deliberate choices about where your time, your data, your money, and your energy actually go. So, how do we actually live differently in a data-driven world? Most people approach AI of one of two ways. Either they adopt everything, every tool, every update, every trend, because they're so afraid of being left behind, or they avoid it entirely because it's too overwhelming or just misaligned with their values. The data conscious method is the third path, and it is the foundation of everything I teach. It hinges on 3 questions we ask ourselves before we use any technology. 1, what am I giving and what am I getting in return? Every tool has a trade. So you must decide when you're giving up your data, your face, your email, your money, and what that value is, and if it's a fair exchange for that tool. 2, does this tool align with what I'm actually building in my values? Not every efficient tool is a good tool for us. Not every automation is going to make our business or our lives better. Define what you are optimizing first, your time, your well-being, or your revenue, and then ask whether the tool moves you towards that. If you cannot answer that, you are not ready to adopt the tool yet. 3, does this tool add value to my life, or is it replacing something irreplaceable? There is a version of AI that makes you sharper, faster, more creative. You bring your ideas, your judgment, your context, and it helps you go further. And there is a version of AI where we slowly outsource the very things that make us us. Our creativity, our judgment, our relationships. There are people using AI as a therapist, as a best friend, as their primary thinking partner. And what gets quietly eroded is their trust in their own mind and the humans around them. Same technology, completely different relationship with it. That is the difference between using AI and being used by it. This is not about using AI more. It is about using it intentionally in a way that is aligned with who you are, what you value, and what you're building. That's the edge. That's what separates the people who thrive in this era from the people who just create AI slop. Data and AI are everywhere. That's why I believe data literacy is the new critical thinking. And without understanding these concepts, you don't understand how the world works anymore. But here is what I hoped I showed you today, that you don't need to be a computer scientist to be a data conscious. You just need to understand the foundations, and then everything changes. You make better decisions for your business. You make better decisions for your family. You stop being a passive participant in the most influential technology of our time, and you start being someone who shapes it. Imagine walking into a room where any technology is being discussed, a board meeting, a sales pitch, a school committee, and having enough understanding to ask the hard questions, to advocate for intentional usage. Imagine your kids growing up with a parent who can explain how the algorithm actually works and help them be safe while participating in these systems. Imagine using AI to do the parts of your work that drain you, so you can spend your energy on the parts that you can only do. I built Data Conscious Collective because I believe that the people AI affects the most deserve to understand it the most, so we can participate in the systems shaping our lives with clarity, confidence, and power. If this resonated with you today, go to dataconsciouscode.com, follow my social media at SanjanData, and reach out to me. I would love to tell you what the next step looks like for you specifically. Thank you.